Hockey fans, the season is upon us. Thank goodness for that. Welcome, everyone. As the National Hockey League season comes and goes, games start this evening. It's time to take a look at the changes as to how you'll watch hockey this season. Now, we should preface this as, hi, how are you? Welcome, everyone. I'm Erik Kuhre. You can find me at PuckGuy14. But you should preface this as, for our Canadian friends, nothing changes up there with Sportsnet or Hockey Night Canada coverage or the TSN regional broadcast. And of course, for outside North America, you still need to go to NHL.tv. This is basically for all the changes that have happened in the United States with hockey coverage coming this season, nationally and regionally. Let's make sure we get that cleared out of the way right after the get-go. But of course, before we get into it, do us a favor. Feel free to hit and subscribe and follow us at Teal USA all over social media. So let's get into it, shall we? Because there's a lot to kind of get a little confused on and everything. So let's begin here with NBCSN. Yes, they used to provide, the national coverage. Now, let's be quite honest here, as I'm going the wrong way here. Hello. NBCSN, normally the national broadcast. Not to get confused, with NBC Sports California, per se. There I am. With the regional broadcast, okay? So there's a difference, and for right now, we're not going to talk about the regional broadcasts or regional sports networks. We'll get into that in just a jiffy. Okay, so and you also have like NBC Sports California, Philadelphia, Boston, and DC. Along with your local NBC station. Like out here, NBC Bay Area or KCRA if you're in the Sacramento area. So this season, there's more hockey everywhere across multiple networks and platforms and streaming services. So let's get into where everything is at now. Nationally, the NHL will be seen on networks of ESPN along with ABC. They will show a combined 28 regular season games along with the upcoming NHL All-Star festivities that'll take place in, where was it? Oh, Las Vegas. That's interesting. Las Vegas? I didn't know Las Vegas had a team. I thought it was just Vegas. I don't know. And there goes my jersey. So you'll have 28 regular season games on ESPN and ABC. ABC will be the typical, like the Sunday afternoon games that we're so accustomed to on the main broadcast networks. So, but the other thing about it, and this is where it gets a little tricky here as we move things along here, it's also a deal with ESPN streaming platform ESPN Plus along with Hulu. They will stream 75 games exclusively, and this will include games on Tuesday and Thursday throughout the regular season, and exclusive games on ESPN Plus and Hulu every Friday until January. Then it goes to every Thursday for the remainder of the season. Of course, it's got to be a little confusing here and there, but, it gets a little more clear in this case. Now, if you're a fan of NHL.tv here in the United States, that's where the NHL would have all your out-of-market games and such. You would have, like over 1,000 games, season-wide for like over like $100 some odd bucks. Well, that's kind of gone now. Now it's ESPN Plus. # no free ads. It's about $6.99 a month. Now the local blackouts do apply, and we'll get to the local television coverage in just a minute here. Not to make an ad for Disney or anything, but your better way going with ESPN Plus, Hulu, Disney Plus. $13.99 a month. a little bit more better, because that way, you get your hockey-related programming like Letterkenny on Hulu, or you need to watch Miracle again on Disney Plus, or my favorite, of course, The Mighty Ducks. But hashtag no free ads. I mean, come on now. Then, the national rights also belong to TNT, which have the equivalent to Wednesday Night Hockey. So you'll see 25. You'll see about 25 double headers on Wednesday. Kind of like with Wednesday Night Hockey double headers on NBCSN. No, Landy, I know you're out there. I don't know if they're going to get the double headers off on time, but on Wednesday nights, they'll have 25 Wednesday games. They'll have 15 double headers. They'll also have some Sunday afternoon games in March and April as we get the push for the playoffs per se. It's also, TNT will be home for the outdoor games as well. The Winter Classic, which will be in Minneapolis on January 1st. July 1st. I wish there was hockey on July 1st in outdoors. I highly doubt it, though. But on January 1st, you'll have the Winter Classic, Blues versus Wild. On February 26th, it'll be the Stadium Series in Nashville with the Lightning and the Predators. And, of course, on March 13th, the Sabres and Leafs play in a Heritage Classic out in Hamilton, Ontario. So you have all of that going on. So what does that mean for, the playoffs and such? Well, as for the playoffs, TNT and ESPN will split playoff coverage. They'll each cover the first two rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs exclusively. So when we get to the conference finals, one series will be on ESPN and ABC. The other one will be on TNT. So you'll see the Western Conference final on ESPN and ABC, and then you'll see TNT having the Eastern Conference final, or vice versa. Now, when we get to the Stanley Cup final, it will alternate between the NHL on TNT or ESPN and ABC for the next 7 years, starting with the 2022 Cup final, which will be on ESPN and ABC next season, and then 22-23 will be on TNT, and then so on. Now, this is the one where it gets a little tricky here because it kind of gets a little confusing. As for local coverage, a ton of questions been asked about on Reddit, Twitter, YouTube. I know Brody Brazil's has been asked about this many times. What happens to Sharks games? They were on NBCSN, right? No, not necessarily. So NBCSN was the national network. It's different from the regional network that the Sharks broadcast on NBC Sports California. NBCSN goes away at the end of the year, reportedly. NBC Sports California will be here carrying the bulk of the Sharks games. And it just came out not even a half hour ago as their broadcast coverage for the season. Now, ESPN Plus will have about 7 games on their streaming service. That will be exclusively on ESPN Plus and Hulu. For NBC Sports California, they'll play 74 games of Sharks hockey this year. They'll have the pre- and post-game live. Brody and Curtis, Brody, Brodus Curdy, as I remember Randy Hahn saying it last year. They're going to take the bulk of that Sharks games. So you're going to have Randy, Hetty, and now, if you just heard the news, not even within the hour, Drew Remenda is going to be going and doing some radio broadcasts. He'll do an occasional TV broadcast. He'll do some pre- and post-game shows. The jersey that was behind me, Dan Boyle, is also among the Sharks alumni that's going to be returning. Mark Smith, Scott Hannon, and such. So you're definitely going to see a lot of Sharks alumni and some familiar faces if you're a longtime Sharks fan, or for that matter, newer faces who haven't been around when Drew Remenda was on the broadcast more than a few times from Saskatchewan. So always something to look over for that. So as for NBC Sports California, like we said, 74 games this season. You can also stream it on your My Teams app, which will be in there as well. Now, like I said, ESPN and Hulu will have 7 games exclusively streamed. You will need ESPN Plus for that, or Hulu. And as for ESPN on the broadcast perspective, April 21st is the only ESPN broadcast that'll be on regular cable, satellite, however you're looking at it. That'll be a home game against the St. Louis Blues. Now, there are no games on TNT scheduled for this year unless it gets picked up later in the year or playoffs, of course. Playoffs? But the most of them are going to be on NBC Sports California. Now, here's the catch here. Let's say you're in Denver or in Seattle and you want to watch your Sharks hockey. What you're going to end up doing is ESPN Plus. That'll be, so those of you outside the Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area, Sacramento market, all 82 will be on ESPN Plus if you're outside Northern California. So to make it quite and simple. Now, of course, pregame you got Brody, and as for, of course, us after every game, come on now. You know the one place to go for your postgame. No matter if it's on NBC Sports California, whether it's on ESPN, ESPN Plus, or Hulu, or even TNT, just hit us up over at Teal Town USA on YouTube, the channel you're watching right now, for Sharks postgame after every game. We go live after every game, break it all down, and have some fun while we're at it as well. So remember, ESPN, ABC, TNT, for all your cable satellite channels, your streaming services, you're going with ESPN Plus and Hulu. And of course, the My Teams app if you're on local TV, with NBC Sports California carrying 74 Sharks games with Randy Hahn, Brett Hedican, Brody Brazil, Curtis Brown, Drew Armenda, and a whole host of others, along with Dan Boyle. Hope that made it a lot easier for you to figure out. And until then, I look forward to seeing you at the tank. And of course, hit us up on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, and we'll see you at the tank and in the YouTube live chat after every Sharks game. Keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you around.